Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to start off this lesson by giving all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors for the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone who rule well and have taught me this word in truth and sincerity. Peace and mercy to the whole full elect, starting with the 144,000 and the rest of the one-third. All right, this is your brother Amath from GMS Toronto, coming at you again with another lesson. Lord willing, this is straightforward and edifying. I just really wanted to go into, real quickly, Revelation chapter 20, verse 1, down to verse 3. And I just wanted to bring out how the bankers are tied into Revelation chapter 1. But we know that ultimately it's talking about Esau, Edom together, right? But it wasn't just the Boasier family that was prominent, during that time, the 1500s, 1300s. Right, but it was also other prominent banking families, like another one that's often brought up is the Medici family, right? So, but you had the Medici family, the Rothschilds they go back to the 1500s. They were working hand in hand, all right, with the Medici families and other prominent banking families back then, right? So, nevertheless, this prophecy, man, stands true. And this is what makes GMS the most prominent Israelite camp from all the rest in terms of the truth. It's prophecy, right? Having 100% truth means that you're going to have 100% understanding of the prophecies, because that's how you're going to measure the times. You see? That's what separates us from all these other camps. It's prophecy. And, especially one of the major prophecies is the MOTB. Okay? Anyhow, so nevertheless, this is Revelation chapter 1, verse, Revelation chapter 20, verse 1. It says, "And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand." Right? So now, the bottomless pit, right, represents Europe. Okay? And the chains represent slavery. Right? Now, when you read verse 2, it says, "And he said, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years." Right? So that's talking about, now, if you know, like Apostle Tahar is bringing out now for a while now, Nerva would have to be an Israelite, right? Because that's one of the first kings of the 5 good kings, 5 good emperors, right? You would have to go into that for yourself, see if you're persuaded in your own mind, but I see why he says it. I believe it, based upon my own research going into Nerva and the 5 good emperors. But anyhow, Slacky, forgive me. I try not to go on rants, but yes, coming back, this dragon, right, Esau, Edom. So we were ruling, really, when you go back into Constantine, right, we know about 325 AD, started falling around, 1300s, right? So that's a 1,000-year period. Now, verse 3, it says, "And cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more till 1,000 years should be fulfilled." So Esau deceiving the nations, starting with the Eastern Hemisphere, started around that 1500 era. Then he took it over to the west, brought it over to the west, and then really started capitalizing on deceiving the world during the 1800s. You get tied into the American Renaissance. You had all kinds of different Renaissance, which just means rebirth, right? But the most prominent one concerning prophecy is, the 1500s. All right. Now, tying in the bankers, I was looking up some things. And you know what? Let me get this precept too, just to back up my point, or back up the pits, right? About the bottomless pit being Europe. So this is 2nd Ezra chapter 5. All right. 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse 23. And said, "O Lord, thou bearest rule of every wood of the earth and of all the trees thereof. Thou hast chosen thee one only vine," right? "And of all the lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit, right? So the pits that we read here in Revelation 20 refers to a land, per 2nd Ezra chapter 5 verse 24, right? So I'll finish it. It says, and one, I'll read it one more time. And of all lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit, and of all the flowers thereof one lily. Okay, so the Most High has favorites. But the point here is, out of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit, which is one land, which is the land of Israel. Okay. All right. So now tying in the Medici family, or not just the Medici family, but all these different banking families. So I just looked up what were the northern Italian bankers or banks. Northern Italian banks, particularly during the Renaissance and early modern period, were prominent financial institutions and often associated with influential banking families. Some key examples include the Medici Bank and the Fergers and Westlers and the Lombard bankers. Okay. And it just goes into all these different prominent Latin banks, right? Italian banks. Medici Bank, founded in 1397, so that's around that time period, right? Where we started falling. Jake started falling around that time period, which is funny because the Templars was what? The Templars was 1100 to about 1300s, right? And there was a lot of Jake, all right, in the Templars. So Esau, and I've been saying this, man, Esau is not creative, all right? He's deceptive. So you had Esau learning from us, right? But now it was his time to rule. And this is why, this is what these wacky tacky Christians and these black Christians don't understand. All right, these black and these Edomite Christians, these black Edomite Christians, lump all you guys up as one. But is that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men, right? Everything is dictated by prophecy. So Esau really learned his banking style from us, okay? And then we fell, right? And then he was coming up during our time of falling, okay? So it says here, Medici Bank, founded in 1397 by the Medici family, it became one of the largest and most respected banks in Europe, okay? Now, go from here, and I looked up, how did the Knights Templar banking influence the northern Italian bankers, right? This is what I was just talking about. So AI overview says the the Knights Templar innovative banking practices like issuing letter of credit and managing large-scale financial transactions significantly influenced the development of northern Italian banking. The Templars' success in providing secure and convenient financial services for pilgrims and crusades for the rise of merchant bankers in cities like Florence and Venice. Um, it says here, um, under early banking practices, the Templars were among the first to implement a system of banking that involved the issue of letter of credit, allowing individuals to deposit funds in one location and withdraw them in others, right? Because they had hundreds of locations, the Templars, different stations out, right, in that area, all throughout that area. So, well, yeah, actually, it goes into it. Look at that. That's the spirit. So it says, involve the use of the letter of credit, allowing individuals to deposit funds in one location and withdraw them in another, essentially acting as an early form of check financial network. They established a widespread of network of banking operations across Europe. This is the Knight Templars, providing secure storage and lending services, particularly from or for those involved in trades. All right. Now, under influence on northern Italy. Oh no, I just read that. Let's see. It says here. speculation on Italian connection. Some historians speculate that the Italian Templars may have brought their financial knowledge from cities like Genoa or Venice into the order, actually contributing to the development of their banking system. Okay, whatever. Rise of merchant bankers. It says the Templars' success in providing financial services laid the groundwork for the emergence of merchant bankers in northern Italy, Slakia, who later dominated the financial industry in Europe. So they learned from us. Esau learned from us. Now, no wonder why Yahushua overthrew the money changers, right? And that was years before, hundreds, centuries before the Knights Templars. Okay, so they learned from us. Now, I typed up, how are the Rothschilds and other banking families today influenced by the northern Italian bankers, right? It says the influence of the northern Italian bankers on the contemporary banking families like the Rothschilds is significant, particularly in the development of modern banking practices and international finance. The Rothschilds, who rose to prominence in the 19th century, built up the foundation laid by Renaissance Italian bankers, including innovations of credit systems and international trade financing. Yeah. So there you go. I'm not going to go into all the little nooks and crannies, but Rothschild and their rise, international expansion. Okay, anyways, so there's that. Now, I also looked up because I brought up earlier how the Rothschilds go all the way back to that. It says, what are the ties between the Rothschilds and the Medici family? And the Medici family was around the 1300s. So it says here the ties between the Rothschilds and the Medici family are primarily related to art patronage and in some cases financial dealings, right? They try to downplay that aspect. But look where we are today. So anyhow, it can't be just in some cases. It's probably in all cases. The Medici family, known for their patronage of the arts during the Renaissance, often collaborated with other wealthy families like the Rothschilds, who later became prominent bankers and also major art collectors, including the Renaissance era manuscripts like the Medici Rothschild Hours. Look at that. All right, so look, it says financial relationships. The Rothschilds, as bankers, also had financial dealings with various families, including the Medici in Naples. Karl Rothschild, a member of the family, established a banking house in Naples and developed a close working relationship with Luigi di Medici, who was the finance minister of the Kingdom of Naples. See? So when you go into the history, right, and this, I really had a lot of you newer brothers in mind. 'Cause a lot of the older brothers already know all this stuff, and maybe they didn't, and they were edified by this. But nevertheless, I know the majority of brothers that have been in this truth quite a bit already know this. But you newer brothers, this is why it's good to search things up and go into the history, especially now, man. Like when this precept says that knowledge shall be increased in Daniel chapter 12, knowledge shall be increased. That is right now, man. It is so easy to get exactly what you need, depending on what it is you need. It's easy to look things up. AI does everything for you. Even ChatGPT does everything for you, you know? But look, it says here, and so anyways, Slack with my point was with saying that is when you do that and you read the prophecies like Revelation 20, and 1 down to 3, then it opens up even more and gives you even more insight. You see, and that all that does is builds up your faith. That's how you build upon your faith, right? What else? So it says here, Carl Rothschild established CMD Rothschild and Figli in Naples. While there, Carl established a close and professional or profitable relationship with the notorious ruling De Medici family. His daughter Charlotte ended up marrying his nephew Lionel, the son of Nathan. So this is how they assimilate themselves into families, right? Through marriage. Showing you that, hey, marriage is just a business. It's literally a contract, a business, a joining of houses, if you will. All right. You know what? Oh yeah, I had also looked up this. Just going into how how can you tie um Revelation 20 to the bottomless pit, right? So I'll read it one more time. Revelation 20 and 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand, right? So I already explained the pit part, going into Second Ezra, the 5th chapter and 23rd verse, or the 24th verse, right? Now, the bottomless pit, why is Europe that bottomless pit? Well, I looked up here in JAT, and the breakdown obviously is that there was not enough. Europe was uh, 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 slacking, fruitless to say the least. All right, there wasn't a lot of spices and minerals and gold there. There was a lot more over here in America. Now, anyhow, Chat GDP. Right, I looked it up. I said, does the I said during the time. So during the time that Christopher Columbus sailed over here in 1492, was Europe in need of natural resources from America? So that's what I looked up. So it says in 1492, when Christopher Columbus sailed west, Europe was not yet aware of the Americas, which is a lie. Obviously, because Christopher Columbus brought Hebrew translators over here, and he read about the Bible, so he knew he was actually. Anyways, he was a small hat, if you will. Okay, he was a small hat, or what you would call then a Sephardic, Okay, a Sephardic small hat. I'll say it like that. um, but they knew about the Americas. Okay, they knew about it because they read the prophecy about the northern tribe coming over here. Okay, so dodge the hijack. All right, so it says Europe was not yet aware of the Americas, so it wasn't actively seeking natural resources from America specifically. This is what ChatGPT says, right? But we know that they were aware of America. So it says, however, Europe was very much in need of new sources of wealth and resources, which helps explain why Columbus and others were exploring in the first place. Right? It says resource motivations behind exploration. Europe was seeking new trade routes to Asia, especially for spices, gold and silver, silk, and other luxury goods. The Ottoman Empire controlled much of the land trade routes to Asia, making Eastern goods expensive and less accessible. European powers like Spain and Portugal wanted to bypass this control by finding sea routes. What happened? So, what happened after Columbus discovered the Americas? Once they realized what they had found, the Europeans quickly saw the Americas as a new source of natural resources, including uh, precious metals, especially gold and silver from Central and South America, land for plantations, sugars, tobacco, later cotton, timber, fur, and fish. Was Europe in need of these things? Right? It says yes, in the sense that European economies were expanding, monarchies needed gold and trade to fund wars and governments. The population was growing, increasing demands for food and goods. but they were looking. It says they were looking towards Asia because that's that Edomite rendition or the Edomite spell on Chat GDP. But we know they knew about the Bible, right? They knew about the Israelites, the northern tribe, and and obviously some of the southern tribes were already over here too. All right, so let me get Daniel's because that's about it. I didn't really want to make this long or anything. I just wanted to bring that out. I had a lot of had really you younger brothers in mind when it comes to Revelation 20 and 1 to 3. So, oops, 12 and 10. Yes. This is Daniel chapter 12, verse 9. It says, and he said, go thy way, Daniel, go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end, which we're in that time now. This is why the books are open. Right? And the end really started when Yahushua came on the scene, right? Because when he fulfilled his lot as that sacrificial lamb, the seals of the book was open. Okay, now we can see the prophecies. Now we have understanding through the Holy Spirit. All right, and the apostles and others that taught us through the Holy Spirit. So it says, "For the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand." Damn, knowledge. Slack. My goodness. Knowledge. Oh, horrible speller. That's okay. So yeah, Daniel 12 and 4. Slack it. Oh, there you go. Daniel 12 and 4. The spirit. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, right? Many will, and starting with the elect, right? The prophets. Um, Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Right? So don't be lazy, man. Apostle Dahar, or Apostle Aramla, no, slack it. Apostle Kabar, slack it. Apostle Kabar brought that out today or yesterday in the Tuesday lives, where he brought out that I forgot who said it, but he said that this guy said the Bible is not a lazy man's book. So don't read this book and get lazy, man. Look up everything so your faith is sealed. Your faith is built up because we're not. You're not gonna get. None of us is gonna get in the kingdom based upon another man's work. You gotta do your own work. Anyhow, Lord willing, that was straightforward and edifying. I'm gonna close by giving all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone who rule well and have taught me this word in truth and sincerity. Peace and mercy to the whole full elect, starting with 144,000 and the rest is 1/3. Shalom.